Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasahing papawid, 24 oras. 24 oras. Buong linggo. Sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa, at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK.
Okay, happy Tuesday ho. Alright. Biglang, wala bang intro yun? Biglang, okay, alright. Anyway, magandang hapon ho. Magandang Tuesday na hapon ho sa inyong lahat. Biglang may flumash na magandang Tuesday ho na hapon sa inyong lahat. Welcome sa ating program. Ako po si SONNY LARAGAN. Happy Tuesday. Maaraw ho rito, medyo mainit. Hindi ko lang ho alam kung anong degrees. No? Tanongin ho natin si Siri. Hey Siri, what's the weather like?
It's currently partly cloudy and 13 degrees.
Ayun. 13 degrees. Mainit na ho yun dito sa amin sa United Kingdom. Maaraw ho, kung napapansin niyo sa likuran ko. Ibig sabihin ho, a few weeks from now, officially, summertime na rito sa United Kingdom. So magandang araw ho sa inyong lahat. Welcome ho sa program natin, ang Happy Tuesday program natin, Legal Advice Corner. Ako po si SONNY LARAGAN. Welcome po dito po sa ating program. Ayan. Well, hindi ho ako ang star of the show, no? Kung kayo ho ay palagi ang nanonood, at sa mga first time viewers dito sa ating programa, hindi ho ako ang star of the show dahil wala naman ho akong masyadong alam sa mga batas dito po sa United Kingdom. Siya nga ho pala, welcome ho kayo mga kababayan natin sa anumang bahagi ho kayo ng mundo naroon. UK, of course, Europe, Middle East, America, Canada, Pilipinas, Hong Kong, Far East, no? Doon sa lugar na yan. Welcome ho sa ating program. This happens every Tuesday ho, itong Legal Advice Corner. 6 o'clock ho sa United Kingdom. Kung 7 hours on time difference sa Pilipinas, alauna ho ng madaling araw. Sa New York ho, -5, alauna ho ng hapon. 6 o'clock ng gabi ho rito, -8, alas 10 ng umaga sa California or sa Eastern Coast, no? East Coast. West Coast, I should say, no? East Coast ng New York, West Coast ng California at Washington State. Anyway, pakilala ko na. Hindi ko na tayo magpapahaba pa ng intro. Tawagin na natin, no? Ito ho yung batang-batang managing partner po ng law firm dito po sa United Kingdom. It's an honor for us dahil Pinay ho ito. At hindi ho basta-basta, no? It's easy to be a managing partner of your own firm. But to be the managing partner of a big firm that employs more than 20 people, ibang klase ho yan. That's an honor. Okay, mga kaibigan, ang palagian natin kasama sa programang Legal Advice Corner on a Happy Tuesday, ang managing partner po ng Deo Volente Solicitors, Brains and Beauty, mga kaibigan, si Attorney DANNA Quinto. Happy Tuesday, Attorney.
Happy Tuesday, Mr. Laragan. Happy Tuesday, Direk. Happy Tuesday, everyone, sa ating mga ka-remote social bubble. It is a very bright, as you can see, quite warm. Lamang ka lang ng 1 degree sa amin dito sa Bedford, Mr. Laragan. We're 12 degrees. Medyo malamig-lamig na konti dito sa malamig na malamig ng 1 degree dito sa amin. But yeah, well, welcome back everyone. Sa lahat, speaking of employed, no, mas belated happy manggagawa day sa ating lahat na naging empleyado, nanging empleyado. It was sa Pilipinas, Labor Day. Dito naman, bank holiday yesterday. So this is like our Monday. Parang ito yung balik eskwela namin ngayon, Mr. Laragan, because of the long weekend, last 3 days, and a long weekend coming up. Kasi coronation na.
Yes, coronation of the king and the queen. Oo nga pala, tama
Yeah.
ka, tama
And
ka.
the queen, hindi ko na nakalimutan. Oo nga, and the queen as well. Yes.
Oo, queen na ngayon kasama ng queen ngayon. The last time it happened was 1952 ba? When was it? Yung coronation ni Queen.
Queen
Ano siya nun eh?
Elizabeth.
Diba? Siya ang queen eh. You can never be yung mapapangasawa ng queen. Marami nagtataka rito, no? How would you explain that? Para lang maipaliwanag natin sa ating mga kababayan. Bakit si Queen Elizabeth yung asawa niya, si Prince Philip? Diba? Bakit hindi king? Hindi ho pwedeng maging king dahil yung anak ho ng hari dati, si Queen Elizabeth yung babae. So yung mapapangasawa niya, hindi ho pwedeng maging hari dahil siya ang mataas, siya ang royal, siya ang next in line sa throne. Kaya ganoon. Maski yung asawa ni Queen Victoria, no? Si Prince Albert. Ngayon, kay Camilla, kay Prince Queen Camilla na tawag natin. Kay Queen Camilla, Queen na siya. Queen siya, di ba? Attorney. So Queen si ano pangalan nito? Si Camilla. No, ayun. So, yun ho ang dahilan kung bakit magtataka ka, bakit Prince yung dating asawa ni Queen Elizabeth, no? Pagka mataas o hari, yung asawa niya Queen yun. Pero kung ang mataas o Reyna, hindi pwede maging hari yung asawa niya dahil kumbaga hindi naman yun ang dating anak ng hari eh. So, ayun ho. Anyway, how was it, Attorney? How was your weekend? Did you go out?
No, medyo pagod sa trabaho. busy these days. I took the opportunity to get some rest. Went for a walk because I'm doing a long walk, so I'm preparing for something. Not a marathon, but I'm preparing again for a long hike. Siguro 4 days lang. A bit mountainous hike in June. So I'm starting now to get back into some sort of training. Siguro mas magte-train ako kasi up and down itong pupuntahan ko sa June. So that was it. And I had a meal. So balik ako intermittent fasting. So whenever I do a cleanup ng health, kasi medyo kinulang ako ng training ng marathon ko. so I learned my lesson, and I'm trying to make the most out of the weather. So this is, as I told you, Mr. Laragan, ito yung best time to get back into the healthy phase. Go out and walk, eat better, go up in the mountains. So I'm looking forward to that. So there's a couple of things that I'm trying to prepare for. So yun siguro ang magiging tema ng next few bank holidays. Just keeping healthy and training, back to training.
Okay. So ibig sabihin ano tawag dito? Nawala meron akong tanong nila. Okay. Are you free to divulge kung saan kaakyat o muna? Di pa muna.
Siguro, may isa akong aakyatan sa, hindi pa kami sure, but
okay.
We're planning, may plano, ewan ko kung drawing tong plano. Hindi ito yung big walk. So, we're planning to do a mountain in May, this May, but that's more of a preparation. Everyone's training for something. So, parang yung workmates ko, lahat kami, we're gonna use that as a training climb. But I'm doing a mini is the operative word. A mini Tour de Mont Blanc. So, hindi po yung Mont Blanc ang aakyatin ko dahil hindi pa ako ganun ka-fit at hindi pa ako marunong mag-winter climbing. But I'm gonna do a little bit of hike around the Alps. So up and down
Oh,
around the
wow.
Alps
Wow.
for about 4
Ano,
days.
French Alps, Swiss Alps, or ano, Italian Alps? Saan Alps ka?
All three, I think. Papasok ako ng tatlong.
Oh, wow.
So we'll start with
Wow.
Switzerland, Chamonix. I think papasok ng dadaan briefly, we're talking briefly here, ng France and dadaan ng Italy, I think. So tatlo, I think ang
Wow.
dadaan. I think tatlo, or at the very least dalawa. So this is the smaller version. Again, puro mini version yung ginagawa ko. The longer version is
Oh.
about 14 days long. I don't have 14 days. So I'm gonna do the
Wow.
4 days, 4 or 5 days.
But,
So this is the usual
wow.
hike.
Solo yan? Solo? Pero you said we. When you said we, you were training
No,
with the
I'm
home
joining a group
office
this
mates mo?
time.
You're
No,
joining,
I'm
but
joining
not
a group.
necessarily
I'm
your
joining
office mates mo.
yung parang local na bundok office mates ko. Sana matuloy, pero alam mo na ba yung
Challenging
mga
yan. Alam mo,
plans?
listening to it, wow. Kaya sabi ko na, wow. Alps, French, Italian, wow.
And
Talagang,
Swiss.
alam mo,
I
bigyan
have
ko
to
sa'yo.
train
I don't
for
know.
that. Have to train for that. Kasi iba to sa, alam mo yung Santiago natin, parang ganun din. So, roughly, I think, mga 80 or 90 kilometers, I think. I think. I'll get you the numbers at some point. Pero ang problema dito is, akit baba. So, yun ang, yung Santiago, dire-diretso lang, patag. Mainit lang yung patag. The thing with Alps is, it's up and down. It's up and down. So, it's undulating. So, we're gonna have to train a bit harder para mas ma-enjoy at hindi sumakit-sakit yung ano. So, hopefully, na-inspire ka, ikaw din. Yeah, tara na
Well,
sa
kaya
labas.
nga. Actually, na-shock ako. Sabi ko, wow. Pero teka muna, ang tanong is, okay, you've done the Compostela, you've done the 3 mountains yata, 4 mountains ba dito sa UK?
Three lang.
3, okay. Yung mga 3 peaks, no? When do you plan this? When do you think, kailan yan? Kailan bang pumapasok sa isip mo at meron ka naman nakaplano for next year? Kamukha nito sa Alps. Ang gusto ko lang malaman, how do you think of your adventures? How does it come to your mind? Are you having dinner? Or you sit down one weekend and I'll have to design my life, my adventures. Kailan ito, for example, the Swiss Alps? Kailan nangyari ito? Kailan lumabas to?
Yung
Sa mind mo,
Alps,
nag-terminate.
nasa radar ko na siya. Yeah, so I mean, Alps is very well known. If you're a mountaineer or if you're interested in hills or a climber, you will come across siguro friends mo just by kuro-kuro sa kaibigan. Someone will tell you about the Dolomites, about the Alps. So, under sa radar ko na siya for a while. Siguro, as you go along, just like with life, meron kang maliit na filing cabinet dun sa sa isip mo ng bucket list mo, things that you want to do in your life. So, as I sit now, may mga gusto akong gawin in the future. And depende sa circumstances per year, depende sa schedule, depende sa budget, of course. Depende sa ano yung, kumbaga, ano yung talagang preferred mo. So, pipili ka ng, ano bang trip ko gawin ngayon? Ano ba yung, sa tingin ko, maximum na satisfaction na joy na makukuha ko. So, in my mind, may mga naka-filing cabinet na bucket list. So, I'm hoping one day I get the chance, or I'm hoping one day I get the right circumstances to do it. So, that's the reason why whenever the circumstances open themselves up, then, you take the opportunity, you do research. I am very, very geeky siguro is the term, nerdy. So, I do my own prep. I research kung I'll do it alone or I'll do it with a group. The thing with this one is siguro medyo out of my comfort zone. I could do it alone, pero mas dahil first time ko in that area, I plan to go with a group a group na adventure na they'll sort out the accommodation. So yun yung ano doon. But siguro next time I might tweak that a little bit. The same with Scotland. I did my first one with may kasama, and then pabalik ko, ako na yung nag-ano. So, loads of that. I think, from my perspective, siguro tayo lahat maraming ambisyon, maraming, ano nga pa yung bucket list. So, it's libreng mangarap. Yun yung sabi natin Pilipino. Libreng mangarap, libreng to dream. And then sometimes, biglang, no, pwede na pala, no? Oo, no, the time is there, the budget is there, the weather is there. So, pag ready ka na, alam mo na kung anong gusto mo, mas madaling mag-jump at the opportunity. So, yun yung, meron pa sa bucket list. And I won't tell until naplano ko na. So, marami pa sa bucket list.
Marami pa yan. Pero teka muna, clarify to attorney. Alam, marami pa pala, no? Pero are they all related to running and going up, climbing mountains, hiking up the mountains? Are they all related to mga nasa bucket list mo?
Yeah, mostly. Very
Mostly,
predictable.
okay.
But that's
I-clarify ko lang.
bucket list.
Okay, i-clarify ko lang. So, this next few weeks, you're gonna be doing your walking here? And then, is it come June ba yung planned Alps walk mo, hike mo?
Yeah, correct.
So you have about a month of lead time to more or less build your endurance, your ano ba yung dalawa? Endurance at saka may isa pa, di ba? Word.
Conditioning, strength training.
Strength conditioning and endurance and meron pa. Well, anyway, so you have a window 1 month, more or less, or a month and a half. Mid-June ba ang plano mo, more or less?
A month and a half po siguro. A month and a half, and that's good enough. So the tactic as well is if you start your baseline as early, may baseline ka na ng health, so you can build on that. So hindi na ako galing sa zero kasi galing ako sa fairly kinram na marathon, but I feel a little bit more or less gising na yung katawan, gising na yung baseline health mo. You can just top it up, and hopefully if you top it up enough throughout the good season, makakapunta ka sa adventures without without the risk of injury, minimizing the risk of injury. Kasi importante talaga training. If you're going up, this is hiking 5 hours a day with backpack, para ma-enjoy mo din naman talaga at madali ka maka-recover. It's very good to prepare for the parte ng fun yan yung the change in lifestyle. So isa na motivation yon to have a healthier lifestyle the 2 months before. So in order for me to be motivated to go to the gym or to walk, I need to be looking forward to something. Siguro yun yung sa akin, hindi siguro tinatamad ako. Hi, Snooki! Or nag-agree si Snooki.
Come. Oo nga. Come, little girl. Ayan, nagpapapansin. Ako, Diyos ko.
Nagpapapansin ng baby Snooki. Kaya, yun ang ano ko. Once na, like ikaw, Mr. Laragan, you're very healthy. You've maintained your base level. It's easy to top it up, tweak mo ng konti, go on adventure, top it up, tweak mo ng konti, go on adventure. And then yun lang siguro, as you grow into this lifestyle, every year you just keep maintaining para mas makapag-adventure. For me, that's my motivation para mas ma-maintain yung healthy pa na lifestyle as I get older. I need to have a purpose for it. I need to be doing it for something. So, yun ang ating sana. And it's addicting. Mountains are addicting. Kung sino yung mga namundok dyan, marami si Edgar Duay namumundok, and I think I saw a few people who's also running. It's absolutely addicting. It's the dopamine. There's something that it gives you that you want more. Parang yun yung hit ng parang droga, a good drug in some ways.
Dahil na-inspire ako sa'yo, no? The other day, ito nakikisya sa akin, naglalambing. The other
Oh
day,
my.
I went running, but I cannot leave Snooki kasi nga, alam mo naman to, masyadong mayroong separation anxiety to. The problem is, when we were running, nakikipag-away sa mga aso, sa tao, tao ng tao. But just the same, I did a run and a walk thing, no? So, yun, dahil sa'yo, na-inspire. Kaya lang, I had to run with my little dog, no? Konti lang, siguro mga a few, siguro 2 kilometro, 3 kilometro. But I wanted to tell you, I don't know if you know Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is now into intermittent fasting. Uh, I don't know if you can try this. Pwede mo subukan na when I was into intermittent fasting, hindi mas malakas ako. I would walk, I would do a workout, and still I would have reserve energy. Um, I don't know kung na-experience mo yan, no? I don't know if you can probably put it in the mix sa iyong development or training or build up. Yung you probably do a walk na from the fasted state ka for siguro for I don't know mga 16 hours or 18 hours, and then siyempre along the way during the day while lumalakad ka na, then you put in the nutrition, no, feed yourself, no, along the way siguro habang naglalakad ka habang ano. I don't know if you could add that to your sa iyong strategy, because this is what I experienced when I did intermittent fasting. Hindi ako mas malakas ako eh. I can even after working out, I can run or I can do something strenuous. So hindi ko alam kung pwede sa iya, no? Baka taliwas naman doon sa iyong ano. It's just like
No,
something that I
agree.
want to share.
Agree po
Ah,
ako.
go ahead.
Sorry, I interrupted. I just
No,
wanna
no, no,
share.
no,
I
go ahead.
didn't I
I
didn't
think you wanted to
validate
share.
napakaliit na yung training, mini training ko dun sa marathon. But early days noon, I was doing parang a few days of intermittent fasting, hindi ganoon ka. But I tried once or twice, siguro
Mm-hmm.
twice siguro,
Mm-hmm.
to run, nung hindi pa ganun kahaba yung mileage ko, I think 5 kilometers to 6 kilometers and to above. I totally agree. So this is somewhere between 16th hour of fasting. So a Saturday morning, if I fast from Friday and then Saturday morning, ramdam mo talaga ang efficient ng body mo. I totally agree. It was probably my most the strongest run I'd ever had was when I was on a fasted run. Pero yun lang po. It was short. It wasn't the long run. When I did the
Mm-hmm.
long run, doon ko na kailangan na may fuel. But walking is different
In
kasi hindi
between,
siya
in
yung
between siguro.
oh,
In between siguro, parang ganun.
in between. In
I mean,
between.
I,
And
I mean,
walking
you
is
don't eat first, you run, and then
you
habang
run.
tumatakbo ka, you feed yourself. Hindi ba po pwede yun?
Ni-
Kasi
Pwede naman. Pwede naman.
marami
Pwede
kasi
naman po.
maraming people who are saying this, and I personally experienced this on many times, many occasions. I would work out heavily. This is the funny thing. People think na, some people spend much on ano pa ito, yung mga uh, what do you call this? Yung mga iniinom for raising yung increasing yung mga hormones na may testosterone o kung ano pa yan. But actually, the way to increase it is to just fasting it. Do a
Yeah.
workout on a fasted state, and that will kick it. Basta as long as it's heavy, yung hindi light, magkikick in yung mga ano yung I forgot the terms now. Before I was really into it, no. Pero yun, yung inaano ko lang, the reason why I'm letting you know this because sabi mo, akyat baba kayo ng Alps eh. Hindi ka mukha ng Santiago, flatlands, diretso lang, di ba? But now you have more challenge. Up and
Yeah.
down, up and down. No? Kaya lang marami kang kailangan
Yeah.
dalang pagkain.
Yeah, with bag as well.
One
With
question.
bag.
One question. When you have your bag and you initially start out, it's heavy, right? Dahil puno-puno ng pagkain and gamit yun. It adds
Pagkain,
to
it's fine.
wearing you down.
We're gonna eat sa mga mountain huts. It's just the same pack as Santiago siguro or slightly heavier than Santiago kasi Alps could be cold in the evening, so we'll
Oh yeah.
be yeah, we'll maybe just a kilogram more heavier than Santiago. But then the thing with Santiago is that it's flat. So this one, it's there's a height, there's a gradient, kumbaga. So yun ang medyo addition sa challenge. I'm not hindi naman po yung full. You'll probably have snacks in your pack, but then the good thing about Alps, if you don't know, it's very well maintained. Madami pong mountain huts, so you can have food. You don't need to really bring. We're not wild camping, so we're gonna stay in mountain huts. So you don't need to worry too much about bringing dinner. What you need to bring is obviously water and yung snacks mo. And doon na naman na ano yung how minimal you're packing. So I'm a minimal, as minimal as I can, but not as minimal as Santiago dahil kailangan siguro ng isa pang layer or dalawang layer. Although summer, pero if you're near in a mountain or if you're in a mountain, you have to be prepared for the weather to change, especially higher up. It can change very quickly. You can be having a storm and then another summer afternoon later on. So yun yung ano, from a hike from one hiker to another, you have to yung planning stage. It's not just about okay gagawin ko to. You also have to look at the weather. You have to look at whether safe ka ba. You know, at the end of the day, if you're summiting a mountain, summiting is not the most important. It's also coming back. The same with hiking. Hiking is hiking, getting there. It's also coming back. So you don't want to be troubling people, putting people at risk for saving you. Yun then ang ano.
Wow.
You know, keep yourself safe. Mas masaya pag safe. Mas masaya pag prepared ka. Part of the fun is prepared. So that's the reason as well. You want to be as healthy as possible. You don't want to be having injuries on the way. So preparing, and as you said, all this fasting. I love intermittent fasting. Hindi lang po siya, you know, kahit maintenance. Because I don't actually, after a while, I don't really lose weight. It's more for para ma-curb yung sugar kasi medyo pag pinabayaan lang medyo mahilig ako sa mga sugar at junk food din. So it's more for me maintaining if I want to prepare my body and be healthy. Agree po ako sa inyo that siguro easiest is not the word, the most efficient way of getting to that optimal health is intermittent fasting. Ramdam mo talaga ramdam mo na ang linis ng katawan mo, malakas ka, and you only kasi minsan ka lang kakain, so you only really get to pick the food that's quite good for you. So thank you for sharing. Ikaw ang aming inspirasyon. I heard of it before, but ikaw talaga yung nagbigay ng confidence, ng information, ng inspiration for us to do it. And I'm doing it now. Been doing it for 2 weeks now in preparation. I'm gonna continue with some cheat days. I'm gonna continue doing it until the event. Katulad din last year sa Santiago, that was my training. My main training was intermittent fasting plus long walk. So tatry ko yung fasted state running ulit because short runs.
Subukan mo lang. Subukan siguro. Okay, yeah. I did 12 hours, and then I did 12 hours, diba? And then I did 18 and I did 24. Makita ko sa 44 hours, 36. Unti-unti na yan. Graduated lang. Unti-unti hanggang sa inabot ko yung, what do you call this? Yeah, yung mga 44, almost 2 days na walang kainan, no? I've tried that. And I feel strong pa rin. I was just living on, not really living, but existing on tea, coffee, and then a bit of water na merong a bit of salt, no? Dahil kailangan electrolytes, no? But yeah, I noticed yun, notice wrong ako, no? But you know, saludo pa rin ako. It's amazing how you can come up with these things, how you can, you know, not everybody does what you do, no? Not everybody, hindi kami, kaya ngayon ako na-inspire ako sa'yo, sabi, kaya nga tumakbo kami ni Snooki nung sa araw eh. Sabi ko, tina, takbo na tayo, gayahin natin si attorney, no? Kasi I've been going to the gym, but I haven't been doing my cardio. So sabi ko, let me just do my cardio, start it, and hopefully kung merong next anything run, or just to run, just to be physical. Kasi iba rin yung yung physical, yung may cardio ka, iba yun, iba pa rin yung hindi ka hinihingal, hindi ka di ba? Iba, some people are just building up their muscles or slimming down, pero they're not losing yung building their stamina. Ayun, stamina. Which is,
Yes,
stamina
exactly.
and ano yung isang word na kanina? Yung
Endurance.
stamina, endurance. So yeah. Well, okay. Looking forward to sana, no? So are you going to be consistently doing on a weekend yung hiking?
Yeah. Yeah, I did 2.5
Okay,
hours with weights.
2.5 hours, okay.
2.5 hours
Wow.
with nearly 4 kilograms. Siguro mga 3.7 kilogram, which is not exactly. I need to
You're trying to more or less, parang inaano mo, yung parang mimik mo na yung more or less yung okay.
I have to
Tama,
be with that.
tama naman.
Kaso
Tama.
walang heels dito sa Bedford. So I have to probably go and do yung step machine dun sa sa gym dito. So yun ang susunod na. So that's going to be
Wow.
so less about long runs, more about yung sabi mo stamina, strength training, just enjoying at the end of the day. Basta masaya tayo, hanap ng ikakasaya,
Yes.
madaming adventure sa mundo. Yun ang naano ko, kahit ano pang depende sa gusto mo, depende sa budget, depende sa time, depende sa nasan ka sa mundo. There's always something and hanapin lang. I think yun ang hanapin lang
Pero
and go for it.
Pero
Go for it.
kakaiba ka.
Walang
Kakaiba ka,
later.
attorney, because you go for a marathon in Hamburg. You go for, I think, Malta. Na-mention mo yata, because
Ay,
probably
hindi
you've
ako
been to Malta. I don't know.
Malta.
Hindi ka natulog sa Malta, but you were saying na
Actually,
it's
sumali
easier
ako.
to join yata. Mas madaling magsamali compared to the London Marathon, no? Dahil hindi kasing, kumbaga, parang lottery, parang gano'n. Hindi kumbaga ng London Marathon. So, pero you've done a long walk, Compostela, you've done the mountains, you're now doing the Alps, very challenging, and we have respect sa'yo, attorney. Parang naiisip na yung tao, ibang klase talaga si attorney. Umaakit ng bundok, challenge sa'yo. I think yung 3 peaks ba in one day ginagawa yun? Hindi.
One day, 24
In 1
hours.
week?
Yeah.
O one day. Imagine mo,
24
one day, 24 hours, no? Aakitin mo yung isang bundok sa Wales, isang bundok sa England, tama ba? Isang bundok sa Scotland. Yun ang 3 peaks, no? And then yung nag-Compostela ka, parang wow. Meron pa bang hindi magagawa si attorney, no? But it's nice, no? We respect ka. Saludo kami sa'yo na naiisip mo yung mga ganyan, eh. No? Grabe.
Marami.
We respect you, no?
I'm sure maraming mga Filipinos then who is doing a lot more crazy adventures. Kumbaga, kanya-kanya tayo sa journey natin kung ano yung, if you hear, kasi di ba, ikaw, you've researched sa intermittent fasting, so kami din, research sa mountaineering, maraming mas malalaki yung adventures, pero kanya-kanya lang kung ano yung ikakasaya, kung ano yung...
Yun nga, not everyone is like you, attorney. Not everyone is like attorney, hiking on mountains, doing very long walks, joining marathons. Not everybody is like you, no? So, kakaiba ka, karamihan siguro, may mga tao siguro may mga ganon, no? Pero not most people are as adventurous or as challenging as you are, no? Which is, ako na-amaze ako, kaya sabi ko, subukan mo kaya yung a little something, no? Although I've done my health-wise, I've done my diet, so which is good. I've maintained my waistline to 28. Sometimes it goes to 27. So gusto kong para at least yung 29 na nabili ko sa next magkasya eh. Kasi lumuluwag eh. Pero happy na rin ako. I'm happy na I've slimmed down to not slim. down to my age, no? Kasi if I see some people just go walking, lalaki ng mga tummy nila at their ages, no? Hinihingal, gano'n. So far, hindi naman ako, ano. And yun nga, yung running is very inspiring from you. At nakukuha natin. And some other challenges, hindi lang yung running, hindi lang yung, ibig sabihin, you're planting the seed na, uy, teka muna, let's make life.
Tama yun.
Okay.
Sa amin is tama daw.
May nakita siyang dog. May nakitang dog. Come. May nakita siyang dog eh. Oo, galing siya. Pag nagagalay ko yan, pag may dog eh. Oh, yan o. Yes. Okay. Teka muna. Magano tayo, magbati na tayo, magbati-batian na tayo. So, bati-batian na tayo. Let's go. Oh, bati na tayo. No, yes. Oh, may nakita siyang dog.
Okay, magbati na tayo. Magbati na tayo.
Magano tayo, magbabati na tayo. Okay, so sige, magano muna tayo, magano tayo. Bumper muna tayo, attorney. Bumper lang tayo and then we go into the batian. Sige, let's go. Ayan, Snooki, babati na tayo. Attorney, sino ang palagay mo? Yung hulaan natin. First, sinong unang bumati sa atin for tonight?
Ibayin naman natin. Sa tingin ko si Marian Galicia Panero.
Marian Galicia Panero. Snooki, Marian Galicia Panero ba? Tama ba? Oliver! Uy! Yeah, Oliver, yes. Naku, ganda niya. Ibabasahin tayong message. Sige. Okay yan.
Basahin ko na. It's
go. Attorney, go.
In the Pacific Northwest. Hello, England, and to the rest of the world. The days are getting longer now, and colors around us are coming back to life. I guess the rest of the United Kingdom is looking forward to a long weekend of pomp and pageantry, with a scheduled ceremonial coronation of our reigning monarch Charles III. Long live the king. It just begs me to wonder if he already has some sort of royal prenuptial agreement set up for himself. Would it be grand if Her Royal Highness is watching on his royal laptop and is looking forward to our Tuesday learning program? Oo nga, shout out kay King Charles. With respect, obviously. Respectful shout out to King Charles. Well, about to be coronated King Charles III. I do wonder, do they have I do wonder if they are if they require a prenup agreement, if they want a prenup agreement, if they're in such a situation. The reason for that, mga ka-viewers natin, ka-remote social bubble, topic po natin ngayon, a little segue, is truth or myth with regard to prenuptial agreement.
Prenuptial agreement ba? Yan ang topic. Uy! Ayan, truth or myth. Prenuptial agreement. Alright, yeah. Okay. Kung nga,
ayan. Ganda ng message ni Oliver Fernandez. Tama.
We always look forward to messages from Oliver kasi may message siya, may mensahe. So, yeah, tama. Looking forward to this. Ngayong week na yata, tama ba? Next weekend, attorney. Itong week na ito, di ba?
Sunday ba o Saturday? This coming
sorry, next. This long weekend, Oo nga pala, okay. This weekend, this weekend, Okay, well, yeah, Oliver, mabuhay ka. Thank you for, hopefully, King Charles is watching us, no? Yung legal advice sa kanyang libre mangarap. Who knows? Hindi mo akalain, may mga ganyang kwento, no? So, yes, thank you.
Baka part ng team niya, Filipino, tapos sabi, note ka, prenup agreement yung topic nila,
Di ba yung mga nag-alaga kay William at saka kay, si Bonnie Piccio, no? Bonnie Piccio nga ba yan? Si Bonnie Piccio ba? Si Bonnie Piccio, teka mo, sino? May kaibigan tayo si Piccio, teka muna, merong nagpapakontak sa akin Papakontak sa akin yung GMA, darating kasi yung kanilang, si Pia, hindi pa kami nagkukontakan kasi nga busy nga kami. Ang ginawa ko sa weekend, attorney, naggagawa lang ako ng cabinet Kasi nga, dito pa nga sa United Kingdom, pag umorder ka ng anything, it takes 6 weeks to 8 weeks. No? Mahaba, attorney. Mahaba ang dating. So, naggagawa ako ng mga iba-ibang mga cabinets na. Dito kasi mga flat pack na, di ba? Uso na. Assembly mo na lang.
That's right.
Flat pack. Okay, so inula mo yata si Oliver last week ba? Tama ba?
Yes, si
Tapos
Oliver.
ngayon,
Tapos ngayon si Marian Galicia pa yan.
Marian. Marian. Oo nga, para fair lang, ano lang. O sige, sino ang kasunod? Sino ang kasunod natin?
Kasunod, I will stick to Marian Galicia Panero. Sige.
Marian Galicia Paler. Tingnan natin si Marian Galicia Paler. Okay. Uy! Si Ma'am Cora! Oh!
Carsola. Hello, tita.
Ma'am Cora!
Ayan.
Oo.
Tita na, ano? Overtake si tita, Nora.
Oo nga, oo nga. Oo.
Yes,
Okay.
magandang gabi daw.
Nabasa mo na ba, Attorney?
Ayan na po. Magandang gabi, Sir Sonny, Attorney Dana, Direk Paula, at lahat. Have a fruitful night. O, ayan ha.
Yes, so
Fruitful learning
have a fruitful night. Oo nga, learning time tayo. Ay, maganda yung topic natin, truth or myth, prenuptial agreement, no? Yan ang pag-uusapan natin. Oh, yun ang tatalakayin ni Attorney. At mahuhula ulit tayo. Last week, naka-perfect ako eh. Hopefully, I don't know kung maka-perfect ako this week, no? Okay, so, ayan, si Ma'am Cora. Oh, by the way, si Emmeline is arrived yata during the weekend. During the weekend, no? Dumating yata. Oo. Yata, no? This weekend, dumating. Oh, welcome back, no? Sana yung magaling dahil...
Welcome back to the United Kingdom. Ayan. In time for the
Welcome back to the United
coronation.
Kingdom. In time for the coronation. Sinadya siguro. O baka meron siyang special seat or chair or whatever dyan sa coronation, no? So, ayan. Okay, sino pa kato natin, Attorney? Sige, let's go.
Panindigan ko na si Marian Galicia pala.
Marian Galicia Paner. Tama. Let's go for Marian Galicia Paner. Oh, Gigi. Wala pa rin si Marian. Marian, ano nangyari sa'yo? What happened?
Absent.
Oh, Gigi Lamparo.
Gigi Lamparo.
Oh.
Gigi Lamparo. Wow. Good evening, Attorney Dana. Happy Tuesday, oh viewers. God bless. Gigi, good evening to you too. Ayan, wala si Marian. But it's okay. It's alright.
Okay lang. It only means pagka ganyan, pagka regular na nakikita natin one of those mga top, siyempre, inahanap-hanap mo, no? Diba? In-expect natin siya. Okay, alright. Uy, yung ating roving reporter, si Egay Dagay. Sige, Attorney. Ito yung...
Egay Dagay, YouTuber po natin. Subscribe po kayo sa kay Egay Dagay. Sunny Tuesday to Mr. Laragan, Attorney Dana, and hardworking Direct Pawan to the viewers. Work from home today, so wala siyang update about tube situation.
Yes.
Very busy for quarter 1 2023 deadline. Looking forward to lots of learning again today. Thanks, Egay Dagay. Can you believe it, Mr. Laragan? Patapos na ang first quarter. Kabilis-bilis ng panahon.
Quarter 1, March, quarter 2 na tayo, di ba? April is quarter 2 na. Quarter 2 na. Q2 na.
Tayo ang pala tayo eh. Mag-June na, mag-aanim na buwan na. Patapos na ang first half ng taon.
Wow. Bilis, no? Bilis ng panahon.
First half ng taon. How quick. How very quick.
Bukas makalawa, ano na siya? Yung ano tawag dito, Pasko na, o ano? Oy.
Kakanta na naman si... Rudy Libroja says, masayang gabi ng Tuesday. Magandang Attorney Dana, Sir Slim Sonny, Cutie Snooki, Super Sir Edgar, lovely Direct Paula, and all happy viewers. God bless us all. From Team Librojo. Yes, Mia,
yes.
Rudy, and Rudy's Mrs. Librojo. Hello po. Gandang gabi.
Mabuhay, oo. Meron pa siyang cutie Snooki, no? Yeah. Uy, Stan, how are you?
Ang Ilonggo nga si Stanley, ang ka-Ilonggo man. Good evening po sa lahat. Happy Tuesday. Maayong gabi man. Kay Stanley, kay Sheena. Sheena is ang wife niya. And the kids. They've got two kids.
Good evening, Stan, mabuhay,
Maayong gabi sa tanang yung mga Ilonggo dira. Kasama Ilonggo.
Ayan na. Mga Ilonggo, mabuhay.
Ayun pala si Marian Galicia Paner. Marian, kanina pa kita hinahanap eh.
Oo nga, ikaw yun lang kagad ng Tony.
Hello po, magandang gabi po Kuya Sunny, Attorney Dana. At sa lahat, happy Tuesday po. And stay safe always and stay healthy. God bless us po. God bless you too, Marian. Kahit kanina pa kita hinahanap at late ka. Nana Lou.
Oh, yes.
Nana Lou,
mabuhay.
Nakasummer na yung profile picture ni Nana Lou. Amazing
Si Ana Lou.
Tuesday even po. Attorney Dana, Kuya Sunny, direct po, viewers, ingat po tayo palagi. God bless. Yes, marami na namang hay fever, sinusitis, hay allergy ngayon. Ewan ko, with you, umiikot na naman sa publiko ngayon yung mga ganyang sakit. So, ingat po tayo. We were just talking health advice corner kanina. So, yun ang ating health first. Ingat po tayo parate. Ayan, asa na ba si Snooki?
Yes, ingat pa, oo. Ito na din si Snooki sa akin. Ito si Snooki, oo. Buti nga, ito ngayon, alam mo, attorney, problema ko kasi ito, baka malakas tumahol kasi, very barky siya, bark. Mahirap kasi pag may mga neighbors ka, grabe mag-bark to si Snooki. Oo, grabe.
Cute naman eh.
Ana Lou, si Ana Lou, di ba? Tapos na yan, or ulit? Direct yung audio lumalabas sa akin. Oh. Lumalabas yung
ayan, si Direct po yan.
Oo,
Parang may nag-minister baka matakot yung mga
si
Direct po yan.
Okay, Ana Lou Antipuesto. Ayan, Ana Lou Antipuesto. Sino pa ba? Si Ana Lou. Ayan, okay. Alright, okay. Teka muna. Itong si Snooki.
Mr. Laragan, si Snooki Brown na
Brown, ang sabi ni attorney si Lira, si Snooki nagba-blonde na. Oh, blonde.
Blonde, yes, that's probably the right term.
Brown. Hindi ko alam kung fawn color, yung parang brown na yung mga pang deer na mga fawn color siya. Ayan si Snooki. Lumalaki na siya medyo 7 months na siya. Okay. Lumaki na siya. Lumaki na. Oo. Makulit. Kaya nakakulong dito. Teka, you wanna go down? Sige, gusto niya bumaba Okay. Magkakatahol naman mamaya yan. Alright, we're gonna have a short break na tayo. Tapos we go into the topic na we have tonight. Yung truth or myth. Naku, napakaganda ho. Prenuptial agreement, no? Prenuptial agreement. Ito, napakagandang topic for tonight. So, wag ko kayo nga alis at anuhin nyo, sabihan niyo mga friends nyo, call your friends para sama-sama kayong panoorin itong ating katuwaang segment at topic na ginagawa ni Attorney every Tuesday. So we're gonna have a short break and when we come back, sabi ni Attorney, pag-uusapan natin yan o didiscuss yan o manghuhula muna tayo na truth or myth sa prenuptial agreement. Wag ko kayo alis, saglit po lamang.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
%100% all natural, tasty, healthy, versatile, 4 unique flavors. Taste a real sauce. Galetos.
Punta na sa Divi Solicitor. May problema ka ba sa landlord mo? Baka AV ka na ni Kuya. May problema sa mga kapitbahay, sa trabaho. O kaya naman kay Mister o kay Mrs. Away tungkol sa mala, mga may utang, mga aksidente, daing o laban sa ospital or sa NHS, harassment, o baka naman may stalker ka na gusto mong ireklamo. Punta na sa Divi Solicitors. para matulungan ka pagdating sa mga litigations at iba pang mga legal concerns. Divi Solicitors at 2nd floor, Howard House, St. John Street, Bedford, MK42 0DJ. Tumawag sa 01234-350-244 or 01234-225-188 o kaya naman mag-email sa d.quinto@dvsolicitors.com. Visit our website at www.dvsolicitors.com.
Okay, tuloy-tuloy ho tayo sa ating programa. Ako po si SONNY LARAGAN. For those of you who have tuned in just now, no, yung mga late tuners, welcome mo sa ating Legal Advice Corner on a Happy Tuesday. Siyempre, hindi ho ako ang star of the show. Ang star of the show ay yung ating abogadang tunay, no? Managing partner po ng DV or Solicitors or Deo Volente Solicitors. Walang iba kundi si Attorney DANNA Quinto. Happy Tuesday once again, Attorney.
Happy Tuesday once again. Welcome back or welcome sa mga kaka-tune in lang. Late tuners, we're here again doing our usual quiz game. Ano ba? Midterms, hulaan, or truth or myth every Tuesday. Ito yung mechanics natin every Tuesday just to spice things up a little bit. Ang topic ngayon is prenup agreement. Saktong-sakto dahil nearly June. June, as we all know, is wedding season, no? Start ng wedding season.
Yes.
So, with that comes before the wedding, minsan may mga prenuptial agreement na napag-uusapan or minsan nakikita natin sa mga telebisyon, sa series. Ano nga ba ang totoo at ano ang legend lang o haka-haka? So, ready na ba lahat, Mr. Laragan? Have you got your paper? One
Ready na ako. I've got paper. Yeah, meron akong notes. Ayan.
Kung taon na natin ito discuss, dapat perfect na po kayo, ha?
Sana. Hopefully. O, sige, let's go.
Balak natin,
Sige,
after a few years, dapat ang pinaka-legally informed na komunidad dito sa UK ang mga Pilipino na. Kaya, that's the reason why, well, what we want is really dagdag kaalaman po para sa lahat. Para kung may kaibigan po kayo, meron kayong kamag-anak kung kayo po ay nasa sitwasyon na magiging useful tong mga topic na to. All you need to do is look up the topic and i-review kung truth or myth nga ang mga statements na to. Without further ado, let's start with statement number 1. Statement number 1. Prenuptial agreement or prenup, yan ang kanyang nickname. Prenuptial agreements or prenups are automatically binding in the UK no matter what the circumstances are at the time of divorce. So, sa ating salita, automatiko daw yan, binding yan, talagang wala ka ng kawala dyan. No matter what the circumstances, kahit ano pa yung sitwasyon nyo at the time of your divorce, that's automatically binding. Is that true? Or is that a myth? Number 2, for a prenup to be valid, for a prenuptial agreement to be valid, parties need to be fully informed by way of exchanging financial disclosures. So, para daw maging valid ang isang prenuptial agreement, kailangan fully informed, kailangan alam nyo kung ano ang papasukan nyo. Alam nyo daw kung ano yung kayamanan ng isa't isa. Is that true? Is that a truth or a myth? Number 3, just like in the movies, You can surprise your fiancé with a prenup the night of the wedding and it still will be valid. So pareho sa mga napapanood natin sa mga telebisyon, telenovela, sa mga pelikula, totoo daw na pwede mong bigyan lang pwede mong i-surprise ang fiancé mo the night before the wedding with a prenup at valid pa rin to. If you are just joining us, eto na naman po tayo sa ating weekly quiz, ang ating weekly game, as you probably sometimes you can probably call that, which is truth or myth. Huhulaan niyo po if it's a true statement or haka-haka lang, is it a legend, a myth. We're now on number 4. The topic is prenuptial agreement. Number 4, parties don't need independent legal advice so long as they have discussed the prenup for 6 months. So exempted nga ba ang partido, both parties, from getting independent legal advice as long as pinag-usapan, pinagdiskusyonan ng 6 na buwan? Is that true or a myth? Number 5, prenup can be varied in the future. Pwede daw i-change ang prenup in the future. You can vary it in the future. That's number 5. Number 6, prenuptial agreement or prenup can be challenged in court. Pwede daw i-challenge sa korte ang mga prenuptial agreement. It's number 6. Number 7, prenuptial agreements are only available to those with assets of at least £1 million. Prenuptial agreements are only available to those with a minimum asset of £1 million. Number 8, prenuptial agreements are recommended to be reviewed once you have children or once kids are in the picture. So, kung kayo ay recommended daw na i-review ang mga prenuptial agreement kung kayo magkakaanak, ga-adopt, or once kids are in the picture. It's number 8, truth or myth. Number 9, prenuptial agreements may be made abroad may be considered as valid by the UK depending on the contents and fairness of the agreement. So, kung ang prenup ay ginawa abroad, pwede pa rin siyang i-consider na valid ng UK judiciaries, depende sa contents at sa fairness ng prenup agreement na yan. And number 10, prenuptial agreement can absolutely exclude the court's jurisdiction if it expressly says so. So, kaya bang, sabi dito, prenuptial agreement can exclude the court as long as it is written expressly in the agreement. Kung andon na pala expressly nilagay ng maayos na clause doon sa prenuptial agreement that it is possible to absolutely exclude the court jurisdiction. Is that truth or myth? We're gonna go over it very quickly again. So kung kaka-tune in mo lang, pwede ka pa rin mag-exam. Get your piece of paper and your pen. This is truth or myth, prenuptial agreement edition. Statement number 1, prenuptial agreements are automatically binding no matter what the circumstances are at the time of divorce. Kahit ano pa mang sitwasyon ng partido sa time ng paghihiwalay o pagdiborsyo nila, the prenup agreement that they agreed years ago will automatically bind them. Number 2, for a prenup to be valid, parties need to be fully informed by way of exchanging financial disclosures. Kailangan daw para maging valid yung prenup na yan, alam nyo kung ano ang kayamanan ng isa't isa. Number 3, just like in the movies, you can surprise your fiancé with a prenuptial agreement the night before the wedding and it will still be valid. So, katulad sa pelikula at sa mga telenovela, pwede palang gawin niyang isorpresa mo ang iyong fiancé with a prenup the night before the wedding. Number 4, parties don't need independent legal advice so long as they have discussed the prenup for 6 months. So, basta na pag-usapan, negotiated within 6 months, you don't need independent legal advice. Number 5, prenup can be valid in the future. Pwede mo daw yang ma-amend, ma-change, ma-vary in the future. Number 6, prenup can be challenged in a court. Kaya ba yang i-challenge sa court? Kaya daw i-challenge sa korte. Number 7, prenuptial agreements are only available to those with at least £1 million in assets. Prenuptial may requirement now as well. This prenup is only available to those with £1 million asset. Number 8, prenuptial agreements are recommended to be reviewed once your children are born or once the children are in the picture. So, pag kayo ay nagkaanak, recommended daw na balikan at i-review ang prenup agreement. Number 9, prenuptial agreements made abroad may be considered by the UK judiciary as valid depending on the fairness and contents of the agreement. So, pwede daw i-consider yung prenups made abroad by the judiciary. Depende sa contents, depende kung ano nakalagay, at depende kung patas ba ang agreement na yan. And finally, number 10, prenuptial agreements can absolutely exclude the court's jurisdiction as long as it expressly says so. So, basta nilagay mo doon, basta you noted it expressly sa loob ng prenup, pwede daw exclude ang court jurisdiction. Is that true or myth? Right, answers na. And I will also give explanation kung bakit ba truth or bakit myth ang statement. Let's go with number 1. Number 1, prenups are automatically binding no matter the circumstances at the time of divorce. That is a myth. It's a big myth. And you will find that this is the pattern in today's truth or myth dahil ang prenup ay kayang-kayang i-review ng korte. Depende kung ano ang sitwasyon nyo at the time of the divorce. So maybe when you did a prenup 10 years ago, iba yung sitwasyon nyo. Maybe at the time of the divorce, hindi na ganun kapatas, hindi na fair yung prenup na yan. So it is not automatically binding. The court can review that. The court can depart from your prenup agreement. Number 2, for a prenup to be valid, parties need to be fully informed by way of exchanging financial disclosure. That is true. When you see a prenuptial agreement, you will actually see a good, well-drafted prenuptial agreement contains the disclosure, naka-attach doon. Hindi lang yung, we call it, economically stronger party. O sa atin, yung mas mayaman, hindi lang po siya, kundi pareho din yung economically weaker party. So both parties would have to provide their financial disclosures to each other. The reason for that, if you're going to make a decision about your finances now as well as in the future, kailangan alam nyo as much as possible kung ano yung landscape, ano yung impormasyon, ano yung factors surrounding that decision. So you need to have a full and frank disclosure. Kailangan pa rin sabihin nyo. So if you're the person who is economically stronger, you can't just say, lahat ng kayamanan ko akin. You actually have to produce a list ng kayamanan na yan. And the same way for the other party as well. Number 3, just like in the movies, you can surprise your fiancé with a prenup the night of the wedding and it will still be valid. probably a hint there, just like in the movies. No, it's a myth. It's for dramatic purposes sa movies. It is a myth dahil dito po sa United Kingdom, meron po kaming prescribed or recommended na date to finish, sign, execute your prenup properly, and it must be at least 28 days. So put it, kung gusto nyong madaling matandaan, at least about 1 month before your wedding, which means preparing for it months before the wedding. Mahaba-habang usapan po yan dahil katulad nung number 2 na sinabi natin, kailangan mong ibigay lahat ng disclosure listahan, kailangan alam nyo kung ano yung pinag-uusapan nyo, nung kayamanan to, anong kayamanan yung gusto mong i-ring fence is the technical term, o gusto mong sabihin mo, amin to kasi kayamanan to ng pamilya ko. They would need to know. So that means lots of preparation, lots of facts gathering, financial documents gathering. So don't do it the night before. Do it months and months before. Start the conversation. Probably when you decide to get married, that is probably around the time to start talking about it. Because it's only fair. Kung yan ang gusto mong mangyari, kasama ng bagong buhay nyo, ng shared life nyo, if that is something that you want to agree upon, then it's only fair na bigyan mo din ng panahon yung kabilang partido para isipin kung yun din ang gusto nilang mangyari sa buhay nila. That's really at the basic of it, a due respect and courtesy to the other side, to be able to be fully informed and fully prepared and fully digested kung ano yung pinopropose mo. Number 4, parties don't need independent legal advice so long as they have discussed the prenup for 6 months. Truth or myth? Myth po yan. So even if mga isang taon mo na yung pinag-usapan, it is still recommended, highly recommended, to have independent legal advice. And actually, again, a very well drafted, good, properly drafted prenuptial agreement contains at the back of it a certificate, an independent legal advice certificate that contains the name of the lawyer who advised the other party, who advised each parties, specifically confirming that they've advised those parties with the consequences of the prenup, the rights they're giving up, that really it gives you that focus on how important this document is, kahit na hindi pa to siya automatically binding. So it really gives you that highlight that this must be properly thought of. Okay? So, kahit 12 months pa yan, there's no time limit. The independent legal advice should be there if you have a prenup. Number 5, prenup can be valid in the future. Correct. That is absolutely true. A properly drafted prenup would contain review provisions. Dahil nga, sabi natin, kailangan in line with the reasonableness of the situation. So, if the prenup is reasonable at patas, the court can say, okay, we'll take, weight, a huge, we took consideration of it, and we feel that is a reasonable outcome that both of you agreed, and it still is reasonable now. So it can be valid, but in order to make sure na fresh, updated ang prenup nyo, malalagay talaga doon na rekomendado namin, tingnan nyo, every 2 years, every 5 years, and certain triggering events, which you will know later on. Number 6, prenup can be challenged in court. That must be obvious by now. That is true, absolutely true. So kung hindi reasonable, kung hindi patas, walang independent legal advice, walang nag-disclose, bigla mo lang sinorpresa, prenup, ang iyong pre-wedding surprise sa fiancé mo ay prenup, it could be challenged in court later on. So all of those, on those grounds, you can still say, that's not a valid prenup. Number 7, prenuptial agreements are only available to those with minimum asset of £1 million. That is myth, but the normal myth actually is that, the usual myth na parati kong naririnig, yung prenup para lang sa sobrang yaman, multimillionaires, mga aristocrats, and so on and so forth. Not necessarily. I've done prenup for even people with no assets, but may ina-expect sila na assets in the future. There may be some objective to it. Most of the time, if there's no asset, it's really because maybe they just want clarity kung ano mangyayari in time of divorce, or sometimes they're expecting an inheritance, or sometimes they are working on a business that they've been working on for a long time, even before the marriage, and they felt that they want to protect that business because they feel that business will be what we call a unicorn. Sa mga startup, unicorn are like billion-pound startup. So may mga ganon na, I think I've dealt with, not a unicorn business, but nag-freeze po tayo, there, unfrozen na tayo. So that was the reason sometimes bakit kahit hindi multi-million-dollar ang asset, they're still wanting to do a prenup. Or sometimes they just want to make sure that just in case event, alam nila kung ano yung mangyayari. So, myth po na para lang to sa super wealthy, para lang to yung people with multi-million assets. Number 8, prenuptial agreements are recommended to be reviewed once children are born or kids are in the picture. Is that true? Is that a truth or a myth? That is truth. As I've said, may mga triggering events na dapat tingnan nyo kung reasonable pa ba, valid pa ba ang mga prenup. Because when kids are born dito sa United Kingdom, as we all know, childcare is a concern. Who's looking after the kids. So sometimes it would naturally mean someone having to give up their career progression, or their career would have to take a back seat in order to look after the kids, or iba na yung dynamics ng family, iba na yung finances, iba na yung hatian. So that's gonna be reviewed. All of those naturally would have to be reviewed. So yes, they're highly recommended, absolutely recommended. Number 9, prenuptial agreements made abroad may be considered by the UK jurisdiction as valid. The UK judiciary is valid depending on the contents and fairness of the agreement. That is true, and that is what happened to the most famous case, which has started all of this prenup trend in the last, I think 13 years. I think 13 years. It's Radmacher and Granatino. That was the case, and that's a German prenup. But it's not that because it's a German prenup and it's valid in Germany, that's the reason why it's valid in the UK. Actually, the reason for that is the UK judiciary looked at it and they said, okay, valid pa rin siya if you read it from the UK law perspective, because it's reasonable, it's fair, it is congruent, in-line siya dito sa law natin dito, matrimonial and family law. So that's the reason why they said, fine, that is we can consider it as valid. But the operative word is nag-gatekeep pa rin, nakabantay pa rin ang UK judiciary. So ang korte ng United Kingdom andun pa rin para tingnan kung valid ba yan. Kaya dito man yan o ginawa, or sa ibang bansa man niya yung ginawa. Number 10, which ties up nicely with number 9, and all of the nine truth or myth statements. Prenuptial agreement can absolutely exclude the court. as long as it expressly says so. Basta nilagay doon na excluded ng court, pwede daw yan. Is that a truth or a myth? That is a myth. Hindi mo po pwedeng ma-exclude ang jurisdiction ng korte. Kahit pa sinabi mo doon na excluded yan, you can't exclude the jurisdiction of the court. And that's the reason why it can be challenged. That's the reason why it's not automatically binding. That's the reason why kahit valid yun abroad, the UK jurisdiction, the UK judiciary can still look at it and review kung valid ba yan. So, ang huling salita ay nasa UK courts pa rin. So, if you are, it is possible to have a valid prenup as long as fresh, updated, well drafted. Umpisa pa lang, maayos na. Umpisa pa lang, you followed all of the kung ano yung kailangan, required dyan, and then you keep reviewing it, you keep making sure it's reasonable. And yes, make chance for the UK courts to say it is indeed valid. Hopefully, 10 out of 10. Hopefully, perfect, Mr. Laragan. Ano po ang score natin dyan?
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 lang.
Valedictorian pa rin.
Gusto ko naman yun sa iba yung ibang mga kababayan natin. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Very, very interesting. Tama, yung 9 nag-tie in sa 10, no? Tama yun. So I got those correct, no? So yes, maganda, mabuhay. Maganda tong ating truth or myth na pinag-uusapan. Yung assets ng 1 million, hindi totoo, of course, no? Pero may sinasabi ka, you followed up with a line. Ano sabi mo nga ulit? You followed up with a line. Yung di ba yung statement is available to people with minimum assets of 1 million. It's a myth, no? Pero may sinabi kang ano yung second line? May sinabi kang binanggit kayo. Meron bang
No, wala talaga. Wala
talaga. It's a myth.
But even if you don't have any assets at the moment, you can still have a prenuptial agreement. So kahit wala ka pang asset ngayon, zero din siya, you can discuss, you can put things there, baka, you want to make sure that certain mementos, mga souvenirs, mga sentimental pieces, would go to you during the divorce, or you'd like to make sure na ito yung, if you go through divorce, ganito ang paghatian nyo, o ganito nyo hahatiin yung mga napundar nyo. So you can have that. It doesn't mean na kailangan mayaman ka na ngayon. Pwedeng mayaman ka lang in the future. pwede yun para sa prenup.
Okay, right. Ito prenuptial is like from one party to the other, no? Kunyari, most likely, for example, yung lalaki, kunyari, Briton, and then may napangasawang Pinay, halimbawa, yung Pinay, they feel that they have to say yes to everything dahil dahil nagkaroon ng opportunity, madala rito eh. I see some situations, may kausap lang ako, 60 years old yung asawang Briton plus yung babae nasa 20s. So, ang sinasabi mo, di ba, hindi pwedeng the night before. Pero, for example, hindi pumalag yung babae. Siyempre, iniisip niya, baka hindi siya pakasalan o hindi no? Yung prenuptial, halimbawa, yan ba, pwedeng, let's say, nadudoktor ba nila? Pwede nilang ano ba tawag dito? Antedated yun, no? Antedate, no? Before the date, kunyari, a month before the wedding, parang kunyari, napag-usapan yan, napapirmahan na. Pwede ba may gumagawa ng gano'n?
That would be fraud. If you predate that, you would be a ground for challenging that. Kasi exactly as what you said, yun yung operative word dun eh. The reason for that is you don't want to put someone in that situation that they are forced to sign something for the fear of embarrassment, for the fear of, the night before, baka hindi ako pakasalan nito. I don't have the time to back out to this. So, in some ways, it's almost a due influence and duress na tinatawag namin. That's exactly the reason why sinasabi ng batas, kailangan 28 days before para makapag-back out ang gustong mag-back out. Kasi kung yan ang terms mo na magpapakasal kayo, the other party would need time to digest it and not feel so embarrassed to back out kung hindi talaga gusto. So it could be a highly good ground for challenging the validity of a prenup kung biglang pinroduce lang the night before, or madali naman niyang hanapin kung sabihin mo kung mas lalo pang ma-challenge yan if may sinister act, kung may naughtiness na binackdate pa nga, kasi lahat naman ngayon electronic lahat ngayon sinend via email. You know, a standard prenup would say, well, we started negotiating on date and date, the contents of this. And mind you, kailangan ding may abogado. So yung abogado para dun sa babae, hindi naman yung papayag na i-backdate yun kasi mawawalan din siya ng lisensya. So gandun yung mga safeguards ng batas. And exactly the reason why, kasi yan ang talagang iniiwasan natin na malagay sa posisyon na naipit lang pala. So if you want a valid prenup, you're gonna have to go through the process of looking at it, getting it, looking at it months in advance, and for parties to have time to digest why and if they really want to get into this.
Prenup, for example, may mga kababayan tayo, parang naive na question. Ang prenup ba, is it like limiting the access of, kunyari, your wife, or as the case may be, who is the, kumbaga, yung, kasi usually, ang prenup is because of property, di ba? May mga properties na pinag-uusapan. And so, kunyari, yung, let's say, Briton na lalaki, and Pinay na babae, ano ba yan? Ini-exclude ba? Ayun ang gusto lang malaman ng ating mga kababayan, ini-exclude ba yung asawa from the properties of the hubby or the husband or the future husband?
Yeah.
Ganun ba yun?
Normally that is yung contents is may separate property, and the classic situation is may property na inherited, you know, from parents na they want to keep on the side of this family, the bloodline family. So inisip ko kailangan mga anak lang ang nito. That's one thing that we see. Or sometimes it's because it's second marriage and may mga adult children na, and napangako na dun sa mga anak yung certain properties. So that's the reason why they want to do that. Or sometimes it's just that you get situation as well na with businesses, they were highly successful even before the marriage, and they want to make sure na yung negosyo safeguarded, hindi matatouch during the divorce. So may mga ganun din na situation. So not necessarily because second marriage or because the fear of and sometimes the reality is minsan ginagawa din yan because they fear that they're just getting into the relationship, the other side is just getting into the relationship because of money. So that's the reality of it, na hindi yun ang pang nila dun sa fear na yun. So different objectives, different reasons. Sometimes gusto lang din nila malaman kung anong mangyayari in time of divorce. They want to make sure that certain properties are separated or ring fences, as I said, or a certain may mga expectations. The expectations are set out very clearly from the start as to what will happen. So hindi lang naman dahil may property lang, minsan negosyo din.
Attorney, okay, sa Pilipinas, may conjugal property, may paraphernal property. Paraphernal would be like, for example, the property of the woman going into the marriage na nasa niya, yun, separate property niya yun. Ngayon, pero pagka yung mag-asawa kayo, ang tawag ng conjugal partnership of gains, no? So for example, merong ekta-ektarya, may mga rice na mana ng babae, halimbawa, o lalaki, as the case may be, yung fruits nun, entitled yung conjugal partnership. So, ibig sabihin, yung ani or whatever, kinita nun, papasok yun. Pero yung principal, which is like, say, for example, yung lupa o yung farmland, dun sa anyone, sa babae, halimbawa. Ngayon, gusto ko lang tanong lang sa iyo, dito ba, for example, okay, initially yung babae, wala, no? Wala. So, sabi mo nga, to protect either your lineage, your family, the things, the property have to be in the family, or sa business, or halimbawa may anak yung or second marriage, diba, para maprotektahan yung ibang no? Yung mga pangako sa mga anak. Ngayon, ang tanong ko lang, okay, yung babae halimbawa, this is a marriage dito ngayon, yung example, yung 60-year-old man, kunyari dito sa UK, tapos 20-year-old na woman, nagkaroon ng prenuptial agreement. Halimbawa, so excluded siya sa mga properties. Halimbawa, nanalo si babae, tumaya sa lottery. Yung bang property na yun, kaya ko sinasabi yung conjugal partnership of gains, no? Yung bang nanalo siya ng lottery, pwede ba niyang maging separate yun? Or pupunta, it will go into the yung conjugal partnership of gains ng mag-asawa, no? Or yan ba pwedeng humingi naman sa babae, prenuptial tayo, ako naman mag-ano, eto wala kang access dun sa 1 million or 2 million or whatever na panalunan ko. Pwede ba yun?
Ikaw may prenuptial kung kasal na sila, first of all.
Tama. Prenuptial na. Sorry. Yeah. Wala. You cannot do anything. You can't do anything.
You can make an anti-nuptial agreement. Whether or not it will hold in court, it depends again on the court's jurisdiction. I think we have to step back and look at how the courts in the UK treat matrimonial properties and pre-matrimonial or premarital properties. So, dito sa United Kingdom, very wide ang powers ng family law. So, there's a lot of case law that would look at how they treat all of these premarital, marital ba yan. It doesn't really make any distinction na this is gains only or this is capital only. How it does this exercise of dividing matrimonial finances, two-stage. At the first instance, they look at the entirety of what this family has in their name. So that's the reason may full and frank disclosure tayo. So lagay mo lahat, kailangan mo i-disclose lahat na nasa pangalan mo, and potentially things that you may have a benefit with kahit hindi sa pangalan mo. Very, very wide. And then they will look at reasonable needs ng both parties. Bearing in mind standard of living, bearing in mind resources, income, resources current and future, lots of factors. These are all contained in what we call Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act. So may stepwise process ang judiciary ng United Kingdom dito. A lot of it is actually discretion too. So titingnan nila, okay, ito, reasonable needs nitong pamilya na to. Not necessarily the same dun sa reasonable needs ng kabilang pamilya. So if you're looking at a £50 million asset, £100 million asset, the reasonable needs may be different. So they will say, okay, ang reasonable needs dito, a £2 million home and a £2 million home for the other person and another £2 million home for the other person. That may not necessarily be true for, an average family in the United Kingdom. So if they look at that, then the lawyers will now start saying, okay, once reasonable needs are met, kung may surplus pa, then you can make arguments for saying, you know what, we need to ring fence, that's the word, ring fence amin to, safeguard to, ang mga kayamanan na premarital, but only if hindi sila na mingle. Again, that's another word, mingle. Hindi sila nagamit ng pamilya, hindi sila na touch ng family na to. And that's very, very hard, especially for marriages of 20, 30 years, When talagang sobrang entangled na ng buhay nila na alam ng asawa, ay, ginamit namin yung chalet nila sa Switzerland. Anong mingled? Anong hindi na mingled? Ginagamit namin yan every winter. So you see how it's a slightly different approach from the UK law. So they will look at first lahat. Asan lahat yan? And they have a discretion to say what are the reasonable needs. Ito minimum kailangan ng dalawang pamilya ng dalawang partido na to. And then we can introduce arguments for saying we want more percentage. We want more percentage dahil hindi yan na mingle. Dahil yan ay premarital. We want more percentage dahil extraordinary ang contribution ng partido na yan. That's Paul McCartney's case. So, it's not because may prima facie is what we say. It's not because may presumption na God na kanila yon. It doesn't work like that in the United Kingdom. We look at the entirety first. We look at needs, which is of magnetic importance when we're deciding this. We look at the statutory factors. May checklist na titingnan yung judge. And then you can introduce kung ano yung arguments nyo if you want a bit more. The starting point is 50-50. That's the words of the judiciary. The starting point is 50-50. The yardstick of equality, unless there's a very good reason to depart from that. So what's good reason to depart? Minsan length of marriage, minsan the source of the funds, minsan extraordinary contribution. So very, very different concept. Very different concept from other jurisdictions. That's also the reason why, if you are in this situation, it would highly benefit you to get the independent legal advice. Kasi ito mga pinag-uusapan natin na to, general principles lang to. That's the reason why I say to our kababayan, if you want to have a chat, if you have a particular case, especially finances, we need to talk. I need to know your circumstances. Kasi what may work for a certain family may be a different situation for a certain family. What may be a 50-50 for one family may not be a 50-50 case for another family. And pareho sila, minsan parehong may nilagay sa na premarital. Parehong na-mingled or hindi na-mingled. Kung halimbawa sitwasyon na meron kang kayamanan, meron kang 10,000 na hindi alam ng asawa, never na-mingled, never na-touch ng family. Pero hindi enough yung nasa pot ngayon, hindi enough for reasonable needs. Can you say sa'yo lang yung 10,000 na yan? Actually, no, you can't say that. So, ang pinakamahalaga dito sa batas when the courts are really looking at it is to make sure that when they split the asset, they can even say, you know what, kukuha kami dyan kasi para ma-comply yung reasonable needs ng parehong partido. And the reason, pinaka-expensive na reasonable needs dito, bahay. Kaya mahirap mag-ring fence ng pera dito unless we're talking about extremely substantial asset base. So that's the reason why we have those cases. That's the reason why the main cases for mas mataas yung porsyento namin mas magre-ring fence kami That's the reason why you're talking about a Paul McCartney case. You're talking about 50 million pound case, 100 million pound case here.
Okay, yeah. Pero at the start, sabi mo nga, ang sinasabi mo, simula dyan is 50-50 muna, and then ginagalaw lang yan.
Exactly, very, very good. A good metaphor for it, Mr. Laragan, alam mo yung traditional na weighing scale na ginagalaw papunta dito o papunta sa right, if you remember that traditional weighing scale. So that's very much like it. So depende sa factors, pero doon ang starting point. Then gagalawin na nga, a-adjust, depende kung may mga good reason ba to depart from that. Ultimately, walang specific answer. It really depends on the circumstances. It depends on the judge on that day. It depends on interpretation on judge. So a lot of factors to consider if you are really arguing about a certain case. Depende din sa value ng case. Depende sa kung ano yung pinag-uusapan ninyo. But yeah, that's really the gist ng law dito sa UK. It's what I guess you're hearing from you, very different from the application of the law in the Philippines in terms of matrimony and finances.
Okay, yung mga attorney na appeal pa o yun na yung final na yun? And binding and final and
there's an appeal. There's an appeal.
Pwede ka mag-appeal. Pag hindi ka happy, no?
Yeah, you can't just appeal dahil hindi ka happy. There has to be an error of the law. There has to be an error of the law. So there has to be dahil, there has to be on the ground with a good, sasabihin mo, a bad interpretation, an error of the application of law. Hindi lang dahil, the judge has exercised their discretion and they said, ito yung application niya. You can't just have that. And we're going to very technical details of appeal now. But there is a route for appeal. So the usual county court, you go to high court, or you go to circuit judge sometimes, and then you go to high court. You go to court of appeal, and then you go to Supreme Court. And may mga, but meron pong very narrow grounds, limited lang. Hindi po dahil po tayo masaya dun sa outcome.
Okay, all right. So hopefully sana may mga tayo feedback na usually yung ating mga viewers, no, kung anong grade nila, no. So, si Mokora.
Si Ma'am Cora very honest si Ma'am Cora. Saludo po ako sa integridad ni Ma'am Cora, talagang sinabi niya yung
teacher yan. Teacher si Ma'am Cora from our school, from Notre Dame, no? So okay yan. Honesty is the best policy. I mean, it's best to rather than pretending that it's best talaga kung hanggang saan naintindihan mo, and then now that you have explained it, nadagdagan yung knowledge niya, naging at least 5, 6, 7 or even 10, no? Then ganun pala yun, na-clarify. So that's good. At least may feedback tayo na no? So thank you, Ma'am Cora, mabuhay. Si Emily, mukha hindi yata, si Lady Emily, hindi yata nakakapag, baka pa, merong jet lag. Jet lag pa. Oh yes, Ma'am Cora, tama. Kasi, malaking bagay yan. Malaking bagay ito. Yung diniscuss niya, ni attorney about prenuptial. Kasi, malay nyo, biglang yung friend mo, kakilala mo, di ba? O sino man, no? Na biglang ma-involve o magkaroon ng ganyang situation, no? Na prenuptial. Ayan. Lizzie Hobbs, uy. All right. Lizzie Hobbs. The attorney. Pakipasa attorney.
Good evening, Attorney Donna, Sir Sonny, Direk Pao, and sweet and cute Snooki. Happy Tuesday. May mga fans na talaga si Snooki.
Okay, nasama sa Snooki. Nakatulong.
Tulog na po si Snooki.
Si Cutie Snooki. Maganda, may rhyme ng Cutie Snooki ni Rudy Libro. Cutie Snooki. Alright.
Your friend is Bernadette business.
Uy, Bernadette. Hindi pa kami nakikita ni Bernadette. Hindi pa natutuloy ang coffee natin. Kasi nandito ako sa ibang lugar ngayon. So, kaya... Anyway, so mabuhay ka, Bernadette, mabuhay yan. Yan, property magnet yan. So she has a lot of properties all over the world, US, Philippines, UK. And when I first met her, si Bernadette, way a long time ago, siguro mga more than 12 years ago, when I was starting out with Pinoy Radio UK. So we attended the Barrio Fiestas, and they were the very initial group of realtors who were selling properties in the Philippines until nagdatingan na yung mga Century Properties, yung mga Mega World, yung kung ano ng mga Philinvest, na sila na mayroong mga grupo-grupo na. But before, yung mga grupo nila, Bernadette ang nagsisimula ng araw. So mabuhay Bernadette, mabuhay. If you need advice naman on how to have properties, ayan si Bernadette. Uy, Logroño, Rowena. Oh.
Yeah. God bless everyone down. Thank you for the info. You're welcome, Rowena. Share mo sa mga kababayan natin para lahat tayo may dagdag kaalaman.
Ma'am Cora, tanong ko lang, no? Anong kayo ay elementary teacher sa Notre Dame, sa Caloocan, sa Grace Park. Kilala niyo ba ninyo yung teacher namin sa high school, si Mr. Logroño, na nagtuturo ng economics? Economics teacher ko ng high school, si Mr. Logroño, I forgot the first name. And yun, kung nagtuturo, hindi ko alam kung nung andun pa si Ma'am Cora, nagtuturo pa si Mr. Logroño. Pero teacher ko siya sa economics sa Pilipinas, sa Notre. O nga pala, Notre Dame ka rin attorney, di ba? From Notre Dame.
Yes, Damer Notre Dame of Marbelle. Or now, it's called Notre Dame Siena School of Marbelle. Notre Dame, or Notre Dame as we call Notre Dame Siena School of Marbelle.
Okay.
When I was there, dalawa pangalan no? Notre Dame of Marbelle at Notre Dame Siena School of Marbelle. So shout out sa lahat ng mga Damians, sa lahat ng mga taga Notre Dame of Marbelle. Very fun memories. Tagal ko doon. Ilang taon na ba ako doon? Grade 3 hanggang 4th year.
May Siena College sa Pilipinas, dyan sa may, I don't know kung kabisado mo yung Metro Manila dyan sa Pilipinas, sa Quezon City. Tapat ng Mareco, yung station ko noong araw, at saka malapit sa FPJ Productions. Siena College yun, no? So, hindi ko alam, malaman natin kay siguro, message lang in future. Yan bang Siena College, sa sister school ba ng Notre? Kasi ang alam ko, ang Notre, oblate yun.
Sister school
ganun ba? Okay.
Nakapunta na po kami sa conference, I think 13 years old ako. May isang parang meetup ng mga Dominican sisters. It was run by Dominican sisters. So, lahat ng Dominican, isa kami sa Dominican Network. Uste is Dominican Network as well. Siena
kung Dominican attorney,
Taytay as well. Siena College Taytay.
Well, kung Dominican yan, UST, ang sister na parang UST dahil ang UST Dominican Order of Preachers. Pero alam ko kasi ang Notre sa Grace Park sa amin is Oblates OMI, Oblates of Mary Immaculate. So, Oblates Fathers. So, baka no? Yung kabila naman, RBM Sisters, yung dating ngayon St. Mary's yata, dati Olga, I don't know, inabot ni Ma'am Cora yun. Anyway, very colorful yung eskwelahan namin sa
Olga,
Our Lady of Grace Academy. Olga, Our Lady of Grace Academy. Pero doon sa eskwelahan ko, attorney, puro artista, lahat ng anak ng Dolphy nag-aaral doon. Yung anak ng mga artista, sila Gary Saldi Shornak, doon nag-aaral. Yung mga seniors, si Kino, si Arnel Ignacio, maraming Damers Maraming mga Damers na doon. So, yung mahusay pang nakalimutan ko yung nanalo sa Caltex Spelling Bee Contest, nakalimutan ko yung pangalan yun. Damer din yun Anyway, that's good. Ma'am Cora, mabuhay. At least very honest, 4 out of 10. Okay lang yun. So, ayan. Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye, attorney. Direct, no? Okay. So, napakaganda ho nang na-discuss na topic ngayon, and I hope you learned something. Ipagkalat ho ninyo, tell your friends about it, and you can also watch the replay of this. This is posted on social media, on YouTube and Facebook ng Filipino TV Europe. Okay, attorney, baka meron ka mga mensahe, shout out, or how to get in touch with you, please go right ahead, please.
Yes, as I've said, general principles lang po yung ating pinag-uusapan dito. So if you have a specific case, if you have a specific question, please do get in touch. My email is danna.quinto@dbsolicitors.com or call me at 01234225-188. Again, it's danna.quinto@dbsolicitors.com or call me at 01234225-188. Thank you, Direk Pao. Thank you, Mr. Laragan. Thank you, Snooki, for making a happy Tuesday. Thank you po sa lahat ng viewers. Sana makita po namin kayo ulit next week after the coronation. So, long weekend na naman tayo. And when we're back, tapos na ang coronation dito sa United Kingdom.
Ayan, malapit na summer, and hopefully we can get to see some of our friends, no? It's been a long time na rin tayong kakilala. Hopefully we can see, of course, we've seen sila Tita Cora, si Ma'am Cora, sila Emeline Rafael, sila, on some occasions. But it would be nice na we could all get together at one time, no? So, thank you very much din sa'yo. Maraming salamat sa attorney, as always, no? We want to thank you for all the knowledge, the information that you've shared with us. You've shared your expertise. This is our public service sa ating mga kababayan. But of course, kung meron ho kayo talagang mga problema legally, no, at kailangan nyo ng abogado, of course, andyan na ho, mas mabuti ho yung kababayan natin, nakakausap natin. Sometimes we get lost in translation o hindi natin ma-explain ng gusto yung sarili natin kung tayo ho may pangangailangan sa mga legal matters. Pero andyan ho si attorney and her team and encompassing kayo, no? Except criminal, no? Hindi kayo masyado sa criminal, no? Civil ba? May criminal din ba kayo, attorney? Wala, it's more civil, mga properties, kung bibili kayo ng property na meron kayong mga civil matters, civil cases, civil no? Pwede, no? Lahat-lahat ho yan, kaya, no? At andyan ho si attorney, siya ang head ho ng ikaw ang managing partner ng Deo Volente Solicitors. So, yun ay isang parang parang nagpapakita na talagang mahusay ho si attorney. Hindi ho siya basta-bastang abogada, no? So I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. Sa ngalan mo, attorney, no? Sa ngalan ng knowledge na in-impart mo tonight. And of course, technical help na binibigay ni Direk Pao. At nung ating pinakalamang Snooki na sa ngayon ay humihilik. No? Ito po si Sonny LARAGAN nagsasabi. Thank you very much sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay ho dito sa ating programang Legal Advice Corner. Let's do it again next Tuesday, I should say, for a happy Tuesday. So till then, take care, God bless, and good night. Bye.
Night.